I think we can start. So we can start now and others will join later maybe. So good morning to all. Welcome to this webinar, which is on public policies for revitalizing pastoralism in the Mediterranean, insights for a comparative analysis in the region. This webinar is organized in the framework of the Pastinova project on innovative models for sustainable Mediterranean pastoral systems that is supported by the PRIMA program of the European Union. I am Antonio López Francos. I'm in charge of the dissemination and training activities in Pastinova, and I am a cooperative research administrator at the Mediterranean Agronomic Institute of Zaragoza, CIGEAM Zaragoza, that is the Spanish Institute of the International Center for Advanced Mediterranean Agronomic Studies. So today in this webinar, we're going to have 4 presentations by 3 of our Pastinova partners. We will deal in this webinar with policies. And policies is a very important topic when it comes to pastoralism. That is a production system that is normally on the hands of small farmers, and it's stuck to land, to natural resources and territories. So many policies are affecting pastoralism, as you know. And what is the impact of the policies on the economic, social, and environmental sustainability of pastoral systems? Do policies support innovations, or they hamper innovation? Because policies can sometimes raise conflicts with pastoralism, the needs of pastoralism, the uses of pastoralism, but policies are also tools and ways for integrating pastoralism and recognizing its benefits and to promote innovations in the systems, both at sectoral and territorial levels. Pastinova has identified and studied a lot of innovative cases on different aspects, technical, organizational, market access, etc. And in parallel, Pastinova has done a critical analysis of the multiple policies that can affect pastoralism and its capacity to innovate. And the synthesis of this analysis is the white paper on Mediterranean pastoralism, that is a collective document done by the Pastinova Consortium, which is available in the webinar page, in the project page. And also you can see the link in the chat. This white paper will be presented by its main author, Jean-Paul Dubeff. But today we will also have the opportunity to know about cases of policy and innovation analysis in 3 different Mediterranean regions: Corsica in France, Sétif in Algeria, and southern Turkey. Our Pastinova colleagues, Jean-Paul Dubeff from INRAE France, Khaled Abbas from INRA Algeria, and Nassan Koluman from the Çukurova University will present these cases. And Jean-Paul will end the webinar with a presentation of the white paper. After these presentations, we will have time to questions, answers, and debate. But before starting, I also let the word for a short welcome to the Pastinova project coordinator, Athanasios Ratkos, from the Greek Agricultural Research Institute, Elgo Demeter. Please, Thanos, the floor is yours.
Hello, thank you very much, Antonio. Good morning, everyone. Just a very quick word. I'm happy to be here in this 6th webinar in our series of webinars of Pastinova. A particularly important one because I think that everyone who works somehow in the pastoral domain understands how important policies are for the performance and also for the future, for the viability of the sector. I am really happy that our group in Pastinova has done a lot of work in analyzing and synthesizing policies from different parts of the Mediterranean with different policy frameworks, same challenges but different needs. And I'm happy once more because we have developed some knowledge that can be useful in the imminent future in policy making. I would like to thank specifically Jean-Paul Duboeuf for being the leader of the relevant work package and leading the whole process of collecting different information from different parts with specific challenges and synthesizing the document that he's going to present. And also thanks to all the partners that have contributed to this. So, Antonio, the floor is yours again. Thank you all for being here and looking forward to listening to all the presentations.
Okay, thank you, Athanasios. So I take the opportunity now to thank also Marisol. Marisol Darali is an agricultural economist working in Elgo Demeter. She's the project manager of our project Pastinova, and well, she's in charge of the technicalities of the webinar, the nice way support, and the announcements. And she's also, I think, working on policy analysis, specifically on the CIP, which is a very important for us as European citizens and producers. And also to announce you that we will upload the materials of this webinar in the Pastinova website. And before we start, and for your information, we have enabled the question and answer option for the audience in this team session. So if you look closely, you will find this option at the bottom part of the application. So if you have any questions, specific questions you want to make to the speakers, it's better that you use the question and answer icon of the team service. You can also make comments in the chat, but it will be easier for us to deal with the specific questions to the speakers if you put them in the questions and answer application. Okay, so now I have the pleasure to introduce our first speaker, Jean-Paul Duboeuf. Jean-Paul Duboeuf is a researcher in RAE, France, the National Agricultural Research Organization. Jean-Paul has been working for many years on production systems, particularly in small ruminants, and also since many years he's working in Corsica Island, which is a quite particular place in the world, I would say, and also has a lot of particularities in the livestock production systems, and particularly on the pastoral systems. Jean-Paul is going to present us how collective and operational levels can be implemented for or integrated for creating and developing a livestock strategy in Corsica. So he's going to speak on livestock production in Corsica, and in particular on pastoralism in Corsica, and how policies are influencing and how we can design better policies for pastoralism in the island. Thank you, Jean-Paul.
Thank you, Antonio. I thank you, all of you, for your presentation and the details you have given. So I begin to share my the document. For me, it's always complicated to so I introduce Pastinova 6 up. I believe it was open, I'm sorry. And then I can begin. I just want to say that this seminar is dedicated to the implementation of public policy. And for this, we have mobilized, yes, do you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So we have mobilized specifically for these 3 cases. We have mobilized the Living Labs methodology, which is in the heart of the Pastinova project. And within each country, we have organized meeting groups, documentation, inquiries, etc., to see what are the operational levels for developing livestock and pastoral public policy. We have not divided specifically pastoral system and livestock production system in all the three regions, because for us, all the livestock production system in the Mediterranean have pastoral components, and we have not to create artificial opposition between the several systems, but we have to consider the diversity. Well, so I begin my presentation now. I hope I will keep 15 minutes. I think it's possible. As you see on the title, we see how we have explored collectively and how we explore still now the operational levels for the implementation of a pastoral and livestock strategy for public policies in Corsica. So I will give you a very short presentation of the livestock sector and pastoralism in Corsica. As you see on the map, it is an island. We have 350,000 inhabitants. It is not very well populated. We have 1,600 farms, animal farms, and mainly so it's an important part of agriculture. 500, more than 500 are with dairy sheep, 400 with, 400, oh, wait. 400 are with, okay, 500 with running pigs and 1,000 with cattle. So we have a strong dependence on common agricultural policies with 35 million euros with the first pillar and plus the second pillar. As I said to introduce my speech, livestock system have always, almost always with pastoral components for the 4 species. And pastoralism, the translation in Corsican language is pastorismo, is the historical and cultural anchoring of the livestock system in Corsica. So Corsican livestock farming today, we observe that there is the memorial valorization of a pastoral tradition that has largely disappeared, that practices have turned back on pastoral resources with a great dependence of sheep and goat farms on external purchases of hay and concentrates, the problem of food autonomy. And okay, so I introduce to say that we observe that since 10 years and more, there have been a decade of initiatives to revive livestock farming in Corsica by the public policy, and we can wonder what have been the results. We have in October 2014, the Chamber of Agriculture organized a Corsican Livestock Conference to initiate the Corsican project. In 2015, the paddock has been voted. There is a development plan voted by the Corsican Assembly, and agriculture and pastoralism are one of the 3 priority for the economic development of Corsica. From 2017 to 19, the Reading project, reference points and territorial systems in favor of innovation of pastoral dynamics, has been funded by the collectivity of Corsica. We have organized a conference about pastoralism at the regional level, and we can see the proceeding of this conference. And we have organized from 2020, because I've participated, but it's all the actors of the region, a collective prospective workshop to build 4 prospective scenarios on the future of livestock farming and pastoralism. And since 2022, we have participated the Prima Pastoral Pastinova project, etc. So, meanwhile, from 2022 until now, there have been collective publication by all the actors of several strategic orientation documents for agriculture and livestock farming, with a strong convergence on priority on training and installation of new farmers, land, territory, water management, and adaptation to climate change. So you see the list of this group organized to define this collective strategy. And from 2024 until now, we have organized a collective construction in progress for operational proposal aimed at reviving livestock farming in Corsica. So the method we have used to elaborate collectively operational proposal to revive livestock farming in Corsica, we have developed a diagnosis with a collection and analysis of documentation to understand the situation. We have implemented with a consultant around 10 individual interviews on the perception of the livestock farming situation by some livestock farming stakeholders. And we have organized a collective workshop and then a working group with around 30 representatives of the different components of Corsican livestock farming to express their perception of the situation and present their proposal. So we have identified 4 priority strategy themes to develop proposals. Our aim is to try to give the public makers some operational proposal. And it's still to be finalized this month or the several weeks. It's very important to understand that the very pessimistic diagnosis of pastoralizing and livestock farming has been presented by all the actors on the urgency of the situation and the need for radical change to save livestock farming. In 1990, animal production was 40% of the gross total product of agriculture. In 2025, it's only 19. In 1 year, it lost 1%. So there is a deadly pessimism and discouragement expressed by all the actors. So you see the following sentence, the economic, this sentence elaborated with all the actors is that the economic, social, ecological system of livestock farming in Corsica must be transformed in depth, and on this everyone agrees. The main challenge is to attract new players, new young farmers to pastoral and animal production activities. We need for a shared vision that involves all the actors of the Corsican society for real paradigm shift. And we see that it's a situation which continues to deteriorate overall despite some success story. So I insist on this, despite some success stories. So we are at a critical point which threatens the very existence of livestock farming in Corsica. So I have no time to express, to develop the roots of fragility and decline, diagnosed a long time ago and explained and developed in the interviews. You see that, you see this, and we will find it when we see the document, because it would be too long according to the time dedicated for my presentation. But you know that the main one and the first one is a lack of attractiveness and the overall social professional quality, the fact that the overall social professional quality of breeders has been deteriorated over the years. So we defined with collectively, I insist, it's not an expert vision, it has been developed by all the stakeholders, and the 4 priority selected strategy. We selected 4 priority strategic themes: training and support for the professionalization of livestock farming stakeholders, identifying the levels difficulty existing legal and organizational mechanism, all those to be implemented to contribute to making land unblocking as possible in various territories. Many shepherds said that they have problem, and we know that the land problem is one of the most one, but it's not so easy to solve. I have no time, unfortunately, to develop all the components of the land problem, but we will try to find some modest but real operational level. We have also to act not only at the sector's level, but at the territorial level. We have to cross agro-pastoral project and territorial project in municipality to better territorial responses, territorialized responses to the livestock farming crisis. I was in Rome, near Rome last year with the Italian Living Labs on development of animal production, and we saw exactly the same. The territorial level is a key level. We have also to identify, due to the very dramatic situation, some support measures, urgent support measures to favor access to water, to fodder resources, etc. So, regarding the professionalization of livestock farming stakeholders, we think that it could be interesting to mobilize the concept of pastoral school, which has been implemented in Italy, Provence, Arles, Andalusia, etc. But we have to adapt it to the local situation, and we have to imagine a pragmatic system adapted to the field. So we have to adapt training system and program to the specificity of livestock breeding and agro-pastoralism in Corsica. And this principle is now validated. We must produce specific teachable knowledge with a triple zootechnical, agronomic, agroecological questioning in a global approach to production system. And we could choose a mobile location each year to combine training, research, experimentation, development, and social action. And the challenge, it's a real challenge, is to motivate the future breeders to participate. So we have to complement this part, we have also to think and reconfigure the livestock system, farming advisory and support system to a more global business advice to help the new breeders to manage the whole activities. You can find all details in this slide. Unfortunately, I have no time to develop, but we have really to train the installation candidates in a practical course which will provide also support and monitoring for each applicant. We have nearly finished now, but the second level is the land problem. There are in Corsica and elsewhere several now existing regulatory measures in favor of land development and mobilization. We have made a census of organizations that can contribute to land development and mobilization. And this overview of the levers for action has to be identified to unlock agricultural land. But we see very clearly that there is a lack of political will to mobilize all these levers. So we could suggest some operational proposals at the territorial level to address the land issue concerning livestock farming. So the third and very important point is the need to act at the territorial level, and it means that we have to initiate test action in a few voluntary dynamic micro-territories, because not all the micro-territories because Corsica is very diverse, and not all the micro-territories have the same will, the same configuration to develop pastoralism. So we have to initiate test action in a few voluntary one. We have to identify the potential desire of the system, the actual system in the territories to work together, to recognize and make essential the specificity of each agricultural context, to share the local livestock and pastoral strategy with all the system of local stakeholders, and building mutual interests between agriculture, livestock farming and pastoralism on one hand, and the territory in all this activity and functionality, social, economic, etc., tourism, is necessary, is component on the other one. We have to document each project, to collect information, to share, and to have exchanges. And this has to be supported by the policymakers. So you see the 3 territories. We have identified a territory in Speluca-Layamon, it's one part. Another is in Balagne, it's on the north region. And the third one in the Cap Corsica, Cap Corse, where there is this territory are a space of work, production and life, of human ecological resource and local marketing. We have to appreciate.
Jean-Paul, sorry, time is finishing.
Yes, I know, I finished. So I try to go as far as possible to choose the concrete priority subject on which to act both with the agricultural profession and by the territory, and what we can do, what can the actors do together. Call the key relays to carry out the territorial strategy in this test territory. My conclusion, you see, I've finished. We have there is an important need of the public. The public authorities have to get a vision for animal production in Corsica, with an agenda, with operational action, with clear and realistic objective on the number of breeders they want, on the contribution of food autonomy, on production system. It is a construction still to engage. It's not done. It's not a sure success. We have to go from fantasy to reality and changing paradigms, as I said, and the answer is also in the hand of public authorities. And we have to convince them to be aware of these challenges. I thank you very much. Perhaps I've been a bit long and not, I didn't develop all these points, but you can find all information in the document in these slides, and I am at your disposal for any question and any more details. And I think in this seminar we have some participants who have worked with us on this project. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Jean-Paul. So you have any question and comments, just put them in the question and answer application, and we will start the debate after the presentation. But it was really intensive. I think the issue is quite wide, so it was difficult to synthesize in 15 minutes. But it was. I think you have done it. You have done it well. Now it's the turn for Khaled Abbas. Khaled Abbas is a researcher in INRA, National Research Center on Agriculture in Algeria. Khaled has a very wide experience also in livestock farming systems, especially sheep systems, I guess. And he has been working for many years in the high plains of Setif in Algeria, where livestock production is evolving very much since 50 years ago, and well, many changes are happening in this steppe ecosystem area. Please, Khalid, go with your presentation on agropastoralism on the high plains of the Setif region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you see my presentation?
Yes.
Yes. That's good.
Thank you, Antonio. Good morning, everyone. I will present something about another case study of Passionova.
Sorry, Khaled. Can you Est-ce que tu peux mettre paramètres d'affichage? Parce qu'on
Oui.
voit des diapos. Au-dessus de ton écran, il y a
Plein écran, professeur.
paramètres d'affichage
Plein écran.
dans ton écran.
En haut de ton écran.
Here? Is it good now?
It's good
No.
now.
Oh, yes.
No.
Okay. The subject is agropastoralism on the high plains of Sétif region in Algeria. As an introduction, I will try to say that the question of whether there is a true pastoral policy in Algeria is complex and requires considering recent developments in the agricultural and forestry sectors. Although initiatives and reforms have been implemented to regulate pastoralism, they are often a part of a broader rural, agricultural, or forest management policies rather than a specific and distant pastoral policy. This analysis highlights these developments in the agricultural and forestry sectors. It also shows how the work carried out within the framework of Algerian case study of the Pastinova project tends to promote a local pastoral policy which fits into the different instruments currently in place. I will start by presenting the geographic characteristics of Sétif region. Algeria is a predominantly desert country. 80% of the area of the 2.4 million square kilometer. In the populated area of the north, the steppe occupies a very large area. The rest of the territory comprises semi-arid high plains, as a Sétif region, and very few humid and subhumid plains. As importance of pastoralism in Algeria, pastoral livestock farming is concentrated in the steppe area, covering more than 20 million hectares, and home to 9 million inhabitants, approximately 20 million of sheep and 5 million of goats. It also occupies the vast desert area of the Sahara, which includes most of the camel herds. The context of the pastoralism in Algeria. Pastoralism is an essential economic pillar, especially in Algeria's steppe and Saharan regions. It provides employment and food security for local communities, while contributing also to biodiversity. About 80% of pastoral lands are located in arid regions. These grazing lands support crucial biodiversity for ecological balance. The pastoral farming methods traditionally based on mobility within the steppe and towards other regions in the frame of nomadism have declined significantly in recent years, which has caused a significant degradation of rangelands and above all, a strong increase in a very random agriculture. The negative impacts of climate change, which are strongly affecting these areas, are thus exacerbated by these destructive practices. Desertification is thus strongly affecting these vast regions. I will try now to explain what is the legal framework of pastoralism in Algeria, and I will begin with the pastoral code. In the legislative landscape, the first law directly linked to pastoralism in Algeria is the Pastoral Code. The Pastoral Code, initiated in 1975, is a key legal instrument for regulating pastoral activities in Algeria. It aims to ensure the sustainable management of pastoral lands in steppe and Saharan zones, and to organize land use for pastoral communities. The code defines rights of access to pastoral lands, grazing rights, and livestock mobility regulations. It also protects pastoral areas from overexploitation, desertification, and competition from other land uses, such as extensive agriculture. Unfortunately, this code was designed during the second phase of agrarian revolution, which centered on pastoral cooperatives that were later dissolved. Although the pastoral code plays a crucial role, its implementation remains a challenge due to the lack of strong enforcement mechanisms at the local and regional levels, as well as the absence of pastoral cooperatives that were supposed to organize users. The second big legal law, the second politic on pastoral development in Algeria, we can consider agricultural and rural renewal policy. This large-scale national strategy concerns agricultural and rural development. It has begun in 2008. Objectives of this law is the rehabilitation of steppe and Saharan grazing lands, support of livestock infrastructure and aid for sustainable productivity, and water resource management and grazing areas. The obstacles of this law is the lack of institutional coordination and limited resources. Investments have mainly benefited agricultural activities rather than pastoralism. As a third mechanism as law in the law framework, law on APFA and land ownership access. This law grants pastoralists access to land ownership. The objective is to ensure land security for livestock farmers. The limitations is the sedentarization that reduces pastoral mobility. And the problems are the preservation of ecosystems against land fragmentation and pastoral land conservation. In the photo, you are seeing that this law has promoted agricultural activities on pastoral areas. The fourth law frame, we can talk about Forest Law of December 2023. It concerns forest lands only. The objectives is strengthening the protection and conservation of forests and grazing lands, sustainable management and valorization of forests and pastoral resources, regulatory framework for pastoralism, land rehabilitation measures for grazing lands, provisions for combating desertification and climate change, and strengthened sanctions and regulations. The key institutional roles around pastoralism, we can talk about the institutional coverage of territory is remarkable in Algeria, but a lack of coordination is felt with regard to pastoralism. Several institutions work to support pastoralism. We have the Ministry of Agriculture and the General Direction of Forestry that supervise agriculture and policies and forest grazing lands. The HCDS, the High Commissariat of Development of Steppe, it is the largest organism devoted to steppe preservation and management. Its mission is to develop steppe regions and manage grazing land sustainability. We have also other structures as INRA or CRSTRA, the Center of Research in the Arid Region, Institut Technique of Agriculture in the Sahara, and other universities and professional training and vulgarization institutes that conduct research and development techniques to enhance pastoral resilience. As development strategies on pastoralism in Algeria, we can point the main strategies of sustainable pastoralism are led by HCDS, the High Commissariat of Development of STEP, and the forestry sector under the General Direction of Forestry. Agricultural subsidy policies prioritize strategies crops as cereal, potatoes, oilseeds, and dairy milk. Subsidies support dairy cattle farmers, while small-scale livestock farmers receive aid through rural development programs. These measures align with national social policies aimed at supporting vulnerable population, shadow zones. The key development strategies by HCDS are planting forage shrubs to enhance resilience during droughts, protect grazing areas and sustainable management of degraded lands, implementation of a very important national green dam rehabilitation program, le Barrage Vert, which adopts a new approach tailored to local specificities and population needs. The major challenges of pastoralism include desertification caused by climate change, land use conflicts and fragmentation of pastoral lands, lack of specific pastoral policy for mobility and sustainability, pastoralism efforts focus on steppe region neglecting cereal high plains, mountains and wetlands, absence of protective legislation for pastoral areas in the north, which are threatened by heavily subsidized crops, a misguided approach to the fallow land reduction in the north, which ignores the pastoral role of temporary grazing lands in the cereal high plains. Here I have to talk about what is happening also in international cooperation that can touch the pastoralism. Partnerships for sustainable grazing land management. We can see some programs of FAO, UNDP, GIZ that support afforestation projects and grazing land management, training programs for field agents and technology transfer for sustainability, gradual integration of climate adaptation into forestry and pastoral policies. Now I move to the case study of Sétif area, Algerian case study, Algerian agricultural systems of Sétif. I only will talk about the particularity of this region. That we are talking about agropastoralism that is supported mainly by the grazed fallow. That sheep breeding, which is very ancestral, is carried out almost entirely in the open air. The sheep are the main source of income. Climate change and land uses issues have limited the development of sheep, and dairy cattle have taken hold. The latter relates very little feeder resources, and the use of concentrate is very important. Cattle breeders manage to get by thanks to free meat prices, mixed milk meat systems, and public milk subsidies. The problematic in this region is the development of intensive and lucrative agriculture activities is on increasingly small and fragmented farms, a decline in access to pastoral space, fallow land, meadows, ridgelands, etc., under the effect of land fragmentation, a net reduction in sheep farming in favor of unsustainable cattle breeding. The situation is not without consequences on the availability of natural resources. Soil erosion, drought, and the reduction of water resources, increase in production costs, etc. In this slide, you are seeing that the density of sheep farming is a clear indicator of irrigation of pastoralism in city region. As you see, that the regions that were high density of sheep is reduced mainly between 98 and 2010.
Sorry, Khaled, time is finishing.
Yes, I am going very now. It's I have to present 2 or 3 slides only. Objectives Algerian Living Lab in Pastinova is to introduce two innovations. The first is organizational innovation and to create a pastoral association incentive. And the second innovation is the introduction of the innovation on hydroponic barley with the aims of resolve the current individual problems of lack of food autonomy and above all the initiation of dynamic of research to improve production and marketing systems. The two innovations are very linked, as you know. The association is to revitalize association. We have to introduce innovation and vice versa. Our approach is presented in this frame, in this schema. You have the organization of the community organization of pastoralism, and you have the hydroponic barley, the two innovations, and the participations of another clusters of Pastinova also to revitalize this community. The whole problematic is supported by five institutional stakeholders, and we have two partners. The cooperative initially existing initiative, COPSEL, and INRA as research knowledge on agrarian systems. As conclusion, I can talk about efforts of sustainable pastoralism in Algeria is requiring integrated, multi-sectorial and locally coordinated management of grazing lands and pastoral species to enhance resilience, strengthening adaptation programs to climate change, and greater institutional support for development pastoral areas. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Khaled. So again, if you have questions, please put them in the question and answer application, and then we will debate after the presentations. Now is the turn of Nasan Koluman. Dr. Koluman, she's an expert on animal genetics. She has been working a lot as a scientist on this side. She has also done a lot of work with more in a systemic point of view with small breeders in the region of Adana in southern Turkey. And now she's a professor in the University of Çukurova in Adana. Now she's the dean of the Faculty of Agriculture. The floor is yours, Nasan, to explain us on the situation, at least in Turkey, and specifically in the Adana region and around. Thank you very much.
Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Thank you, Antonio. Also, we work together with Jean-Paul on livestock sector and public policies, organization of support service, especially in Adana region, but also all over the countries. In Turkey, we have two different kind of production. The first one is industrial. The second one, pastoralists. Pastoralists divided into three sections. The first one, agro-pastoralist, small-scale family farms, and transhumance system. Livestock breeding is activity that transform natural pasture and fallow stubble and areas unsuitable for plant production into products such as milk, meat, fleece, hair, mohair, and leather, which are not suitable for plant production due to climate and land structure. And also small ruminants are often content with only pasture as they are content with eating. The fact that our country's unique natural resources, especially meadows and pastures, are suitable for sheep and goats. And also today, sheep and goat species find a wide range of habitats in different environmental conditions in the various parts of the world and provide significant income to the breeder. Also shepherding, which is one of the important elements of sheep and goat breeding, is a profession, and to encourage it, the necessary institutions and organizations should conduct appropriate training and studies and try to increase interest in this field. Almost 871,000 people trained in this program. It has been determined that livestock holdings go out and return to the pasture as a single family herd as a rate of 15%. The ratio of enterprises that go out to pasture by forming common herd is almost 85%. Turkey's livestock policies aim to increase sector productivity, improve animal health, and promote sustainable production, and also training for the pastoral community, protecting native breeds, enhancing genetic diversity, and spreading modern breeding techniques are key priorities. Additionally, improving production processes in small ruminant farming is a strategy to support rural development, create employment, and strengthen local economies. Furthermore, increasing the production of high-quality milk and meat for the families in this part of Turkey not only meet domestic demand but also enhance marketing potential is an important part of this area's economies. Turkish government, Ministry of Agriculture, supports cattle, sheep, and goat industry through several grants. The first one is supporting investments in cattle and sheep breeding enterprise. Second one, stud, ram, and buck purchase. The other one, National Animal Breeding Project at breeder level. And also, last week, we start another program for the pastoral people, for the young generation. Our government support almost 100% of the all expenses of especially livestock production. Legal regulations on animal health, animal welfare, and environmental protection establish conditions and restrictions for animal breeding. This includes mandatory registration, ear tagging, passport issuance, monitoring of animal movement. This is very important. Vaccination checks, disease prevention measures, and notification of illnesses. Veterinary inspections must be conducted before transportation. Legal restrictions are imposed by Minister of Agriculture on the use of pastures and forests, stocking grazing periods, fences to prevent grazing in forest areas with penalty sections. They have to pay almost 20 Turkish liras per animal for each entering. If animals graze forests with no legal permission, prohibition of fires and smoking near and within forests, Transhumant animals must belong to the pastoral human communities, moving between highland and winter quarters. Nomad shepherds must follow the migration procedures, checking the health vaccination status of animals, keeping the animals' ear tag, numbers of ownership documents, ensuring that transport vehicles meet suitable conditions for the animals, and also acting in accordance with animal welfare regulations during animal transport to the highland in summer season. The public policies can play a vital role in reducing bureaucratic burdens, facilitating sustainable land access, ensuring animal welfare during migration, and enhancing economic resilience for especially for small ruminant farmers. By addressing these areas, our IBMs can help structure of future pastoralism in Turkey within framework of regulatory compliance and environmental sustainability. Goat farmers are required to comply with administrative obligations such as animal registration, ear tagging, issuing passports, as I told before, and also solution like digital record keeping and mobile veterinary service could reduce the bureaucratic load, especially for the pastoralists. Goat farmers face grazing restrictions in forest areas, stocking rate regulations, grazing period limits, and restricted access to the forested lands. And also IBM's focus on grazing cooperatives and shared pasture agreement backed by legal support can help pastoralists optimize especially the land use. Models that promote sustainable grazing practice aligned with ministry requirements could open more pasture land to pastoralists. Transhumant goat farmers and sheep and goat farmers, they keep most commonly sheep and goat, especially nomads, must adhere the strict animal welfare guidelines during migration, including health checks, compliance with transport vehicles standards, and planning migration routes. Business models that improve transport logistics could address this need. Partnerships with transport companies that meet animal welfare standards or leasing certified transport vehicles could make compliance more accessible and affordable for pastoralists. And also, pastoralism faces economic difficulties, especially when the input prices increase, and also fluctuating market prices and rising compliance costs is important for these people. Many goat farmers and sheep farmers almost give up to produce. And also on direct to market platforms or collective marketing can improve income by connecting pastoralists directly with the consumers, reducing dependency also for middlemen intermediaries. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathan.
Mhm.
It was very interesting. So again, any question, put them in the question and answer application, and then we will reply to these questions and start the debate. And this will be done after the last presentation. We will have again Jean-Paul Duvet from INRA in France. He's going to talk to us about the white paper on Mediterranean pastoralism.
Yes,
Go ahead, Jean-Paul.
not exactly. Before this, we have a synthesis of what we have done in the together. So do you see my presentation?
No,
No?
we see you, but not your presentation.
Okay. Partager. Okay, share. Okay. Do you see now?
Not yet.
Just for 1 minute. I think we have time to do. Do you see it now?
No.
You haven't started to share your screen, Jean-Paul.
Yes, I have. Yes, okay. Now it's okay?
Yes. Now it's okay.
Yes.
Yes. Khaled and Nazan have presented very clearly the situation in the region, in the context. I'm sorry, I have to open. Well, okay, I cannot. So we have organized in the free context Algeria, Turkey, and Corsica meetings to speak about this policy. This policy we have been described in the three regions. So I will make a short synthesis of what we have done and what are the main challenges in the free region.
Excuse me, Jean-Paul. Could you please widen your presentation full screen?
It's what I try to do, but I don't.
Okay.
It's my problem. Okay. Yes, now I can. Okay, it's okay. Okay. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. So I will present the summary of what we have discussed during our meetings in Corsica, and then in Algeria, and then in Turkey, and of course both Khaled, Rashida, and Nazan could participate and give the comments of what I've tried to sum up. So, including my Corsican colleagues who participate. In Corsica, so to sum up what I've said on Corsica, the learning we have from Corsica is that public authorities are called upon to respond to the expectation. It's very important to insist on this point, on the expectation of livestock stakeholders for the four priority of public action. So what are the priority of a public policy? There are several orientations, and we have to respond to the expectation of livestock stakeholders for the four priority of public action. To produce more and improve food autonomy is one of these priority. Here, the challenge in Corsica is to attract new breeders, to improve their skills, and develop operational solutions with stabilized, more competitive production system using local foragers' resources and limiting the use of external feedstuff. This is the first answer we have to build. The second one is to preserve biodiversity, natural landscape, and cultural heritage. All the public policy have this objective. What happens? So,
yes. Can you mute your micro?
Please, yes. So to improve, so in the case of the area, in all the area where the policies diverse, protect natural landscapes and culture biodiversity, we have to improve the condition of the activity of pastoralism by building infrastructure, summer house, roads, facility, water supplies in mountain area. Because in the natural landscape, pastoralism is very important. Even if in this area, it's not so important to improve productivity, it's important they keep pastoralists and could have their activity in good condition. This is an answer to the biodiversity priority of public policy. So the third priority of public policy is to develop diversified activities and employment in rural area. So they absolutely have to look to support local authorities, community of municipality, districts in creating or structuring pastoral, coherent and sustainable pastoral farm and pluri activities. And the fourth one is the key orientation of public policy, is the most important in security, is to prevent encroachment, forest fires, or land degradation by a renewal of pastoral practices. So they have to promote the training and educational initiative in favor of pastoral practices for instance, with pastoral schools. So many reports, expertise, working groups, studies, diagnosis have been edited for 10 years, but more with little change. So we observe that livestock farming is not really a priority for regional authorities now. This is an observation. And we from our meetings, we have a call for the awareness to build a vision of pastoralism in the island and the need to focus on pragmatic measures for a productive animal production sector on training, extension, territorial condition, and solving problem approach. So you've seen that for all the public policy priority, for all the priorities of public policies in Corsica, there is an answer related to animal production. This is the first learning from Corsica. And this has been included, all this observation of this learning in Corsica, Algeria, Turkey, and elsewhere have been included in the white paper I will present you very quickly. From Algeria, the meeting that has been organized by Khaled and his team is that there is also a shared diagnosis that offers a coherent political framework. So the national priorities are focused on the country's food security and social support for the population. You stop me, Khaled or Rashida, if you don't agree with what I said, but I try to sum up what we have discussed. The national priorities are focused on the food security and social support for the population. Meanwhile, several laws, very well explained by Khaled, institution declaration address the country's environmental and climatic challenges, and they all considered that agropastoralism is important for this priority. But he has presented us that the pastoral situation in Algeria has decreased, is worse. Farmers are increasingly turning to dairy farming, often practically off-ground, and are abandoning sheep farming, which is the animal supporting agropastoralism, while prices and demand for sheep meat are at the highest. The price for lamb and sheep is very high, but there are no more shepherds. So land fragmentation, as Khaled said, is a major issue for pastoralists for a long time since the French colonization, but it has been increased dramatically. Pastoralists have no specific subsidies and no training, little support. So a medium-term strategy with precise objective over 10 or 20 years has to be developed that mobilizes real political engineering. So we see the convergence between the two regions. A communications plan to change farmers' perception of pastoralism as a activity for future, and by giving a large pledge to innovation and support for installation is needed. The last point developed by Khaled is it's very important to structure pastoral association, and the consortium and the association and the activity with COPSEL is very important, because COPSEL has been developed on dairy farming, but they want to give the contribution to the development of agro-pastoralism. This is very important. Khaled, have you any comments to my abstract, to my summary?
No. It's very well summarized. Very well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I tried to do what we have done. And this was very interesting, because all the stakeholders, all the actors were around the table, and they said, it's not my presentation, it's a presentation of all the stakeholders who were present in CETIF when I was in last autumn. So I finish on Turkey, and as Nazan said, the main national policy for animal production and pastoralism in Turkey are focused on production planning, developing contracts with industry, develop an action plan for milk, improving genetic breeding, developing professional capacity, animal health action plan, developing support, and favoring loans for investment. And all this has been clearly presented by the director of animal production in Turkey of the Ministry of Agriculture, the Turkish Ministry of Agriculture, when we were discussing with them during our meeting. Priority project for pastoralism will primarily focus on increasing productivity, especially for milk and cattle meat, and achieving local sufficiency. There is the food autonomy is a very important challenge, like everywhere in Corsica, in Algeria, and all the Pastinova countries and elsewhere. So we have to develop. They have to develop drought resistance as a major issue, as much as reducing methane emission. And the people we've met have identified key area where projects will be implemented on this priority basis. So what has been developed is that the regional administration have developed extension services. It's very important in each geographical sector to train breeders individually and collective group. And the Adana representative of the ministry in the Adana officer of the Ministry of Agriculture had insisted on the fact that in his region, there is a high level of confidence between the technician and the breeders as a key factor of efficiency of the action in a geographical sector. Nazan, have you any comment or anything to add to this?
Thank you very much, Jean-Paul. We have also two big problems nowadays in Turkey. Drought is really very bad effects to the animal farming together with crop production. This year, I think that our Ministry of Agriculture restricted corn production because of water restriction. And also the second problem is our farmers are very old in especially rural areas. That's why we start new project to the young generation to go back to their village. This is also important development in Turkey.
Yes, I agree with you. It's to attract young breeders and to help them to live is very important. Yes. Thank you, Nazan. So the conclusion of this short report is that each local described situation underlines, as you said just a minute ago, the importance of support for pastoralism and the need for improving their skills. They are professional. The main priority for public policy are both producing more and improving food autonomy, preserving the environment and adapt climate changing, and the social welfare of the rural population. So we have elaborated collectively with all the Pastinova team the white paper on pastoralism in the Mediterranean. It may be a guide to discuss this orientation at each local level. What is the priority of the public policy? What the policymaker wants to achieve? Whatever it is on food autonomy, productivity, environmental, and or social level of the territory. So I thank you for this presentation, and I can just show you the white paper. I don't know how to do it. I think I can do it like that. So
Before you stop the sharing screen, I think, Jean-Paul.
No, I don't. I think I will. I will don't change. I will add
because I think you are currently sharing the screen of the PowerPoint. Better to stop sharing and share again the screen.
Okay. It's you. It's okay, and to share this. Okay. It's okay now?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to thank warmly the Antonio and all the CIAM in Zaragoza to have edited this white paper. You see it. It will be on the website. It's a synthetic document. It's a documented analysis for policymakers and stakeholders. So all the partners have been involved. So in this white paper, as you see it, we have insisted on the main narrative for each public priority according to the innovative business model and the pastoral innovation associated to each public priority, as I did in my previous presentation. So the main priority for public policy are to produce more, increase in competitiveness and preserve food security, autonomy and sovereignty, to preserve biodiversity, natural landscapes, environmental and cultural heritage, to develop diversified activities and employment in rural area, and to prevent encroachment, forestment, and land degradation. These are the four main priorities. And we have related this priority with Pastinova innovations. So we have also in this white paper sum up the main priority and trends at transnational level regarding the common agricultural policy measures, because in Europe, the GAP measures are very important to support agriculture, and the orientation of the CAP can have a positive or negative aspect presently or in the future on pastoralism. It has been described in the first report on public policy in Pastinova. In Maghreb, in the Middle East, and we have also a short paragraph on the need for more integrated Mediterranean policies. Okay, in this, so in the point 4 and 5, we give example related to the work developed by Pastinova partners, and in the annex for each region, for each partner, we give an original presentation on the main policy on pastoralism in Italy, Sardinia and Marche, in Lebanon, in Slovenia, Morocco, Tunisia, Spain, etc. With specifically in Spain, the Association of Small-Scale Cheeses This association wants to adapt the sanitary regulation to the specificity of small-scale production. So they have given also a report on this issue. So you see, you have all the document, and it's a document very important to promote pastoralism near the policymakers. So well, I think I am in the time, and I thank you for this presentation. We can open the discussion and the debate now. I think we have some time to do it.
Yes, thank you very much, Jean-Paul. So yes, we encourage you to revise these documents. You can share them. You can they are under an open license, provided you refer to them properly. You can use them freely, and I think Jean-Paul and the consortium has tried to make a very interesting synthesis of all these issues. So our main message in Pastinova is that pastoralism is not that of just traditions and folklore, but it is also an activity that is innovating in the territories, and it's also an activity that not only is impacted sometimes negatively by policies, but also can contribute to main policy objectives in every Mediterranean country. Okay, so we hope this paper will help you to maybe to structure your discourse or your thoughts, and of course, it's as anything that is so complex is subject still to criticism, analysis, improvements, etc. So again, thank you very much, all of you, for contributing to it, and a special thanks to Jean-Paul, Nathan, and Khaled for their presentations today. So now we have the time for debates. It seems there are several questions in the question and answer, but first of all, I think we have to give the word to Rashida Amri, who is also a Pastinova partner, and she's raising her hand. Maybe Rashida wants to make a comment, and then we pass to the questions in the chat.
Well, thanks. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
First of all. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor Khaled Abbas, and thank you all the participants. Thank you, Professor Dibeuf, for the informations and the right description of the actual situation in Algeria. I have just hope that the pastoral code that was mainly explained and discussed during your visit to Algeria to be added to the white paper and its content. I think it's very important. It needs only to be updated according to the balance, the biodiversity balance, and climate change and the economic challenges. Why? Because the pastoral code is, I think it is the solution to keep the sheep from distinction. I feel that in 10 years or 20 years, there will no sheep in the world. I'm not exaggerating, because many countries need to and was oriented to the importation of sheep. That's my opinion, and thank you so much.
So you say that it's very important to develop sheep production, because if we don't do nothing, there will be no sheep at all, and the situation will be worse. This is what you say.
Yes, and the high price of sheep and the low number is not only because of the I think the lack of breeders or orientation where other breeding, but it is because there is no sheep. That's why
the lack of sheep.
The price. Okay. Yes, and it is in decrease. It is my opinion. I think I'm not sure if I am exaggerated or not, but it is my opinion. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Rashid. And I think the decreasing in livestock flocks, and particular in extensive production and some more ruminants, is also happening in many other countries. And I took a sentence in the presentation, the final presentation by Jean-Paul in Algeria. I understood that prices of meat and demand of meat, of sheep meat, are high now in Algeria, but flocks
not only in Algeria. Yes.
In Spain also, meat sheep is now in a good price. For many decades we didn't have this price.
I think in Morocco is the same. Morocco is the same. Tunisia is the same.
So it's not only the question of prices. It's a question of a more complex and systemic crisis, no?
Especially in the Mediterranean region, in the South Mediterranean region, because of the challenges of climate change.
Maybe Nathan, you want to say something?
In Turkey, it is a little bit different, Rashida, because of the feed price and the price of the instructions of the especially cattle production. Most people give up to produce cattle milk, and they return back to the sheep production, because sheep is, that not sensitive as cattle, and also they graze very bad conditions, very specific areas of the Mediterranean. That's why in Turkey it's little bit change.
In Algeria it is worse, because in Turkey there is a bit of green areas more than Algeria.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Let's go for the question and answers that have been made in the chat. So there's a question on Jelena Kripcevic from.
Sorry,
yes?
Antonio. There are two other hands raised.
Yes, but let's go first for the question and answer, because that was we said at the beginning, and they have done some questions minutes ago. And the one on Montenegro, Jelena is asking about any example of successful rural tourism in transhuman settlements. So, do you have any experience on young people who is going back to pastoralism, to this activity, and combining this with tourism?
It's a question to us.
Yes, and well, to everybody, if they can do any comment on this. So, if you have anything to say, please say it in the speakers. Tell us, and then someone in the chat can also write his own experience.
I can begin to answer if you like.
Yes.
Yeah. In the several priority of public policy, we have spoken of the need to ensure to straighten the shepherds in natural area in Corsica. So in Corsica, about 1/3 of the territory is a regional park with many hikers, with many tourists going to the mountains during summer for hiking. And it's important for these people to keep some shepherds working in good conditions to propose the real products, not products they buy in the valley. And so this is an important orientation, and there is a committee, comité de massif. It's called. It is a group. Is a part of the regional authority to promote the activities in this area, to combine tourism, livestock production, and nature protection. However, we observe that some young shepherds are still a bit reluctant to go, and especially for producing milk during summer, they are reluctant because it requires much investment or much work. So they prefer to produce cheeses downstairs in the valley and not in relationship with the transhumance. I don't know if I've answered the question, but I think it's a main issue, and all the subsidies to encourage people to produce milk in the mountains, as in the past, are not really a success, because it's it's different in the Alps, for instance, because the conditions, the infrastructure, the houses are more more structured. It's the conditions of living are better, but now there are some shepherds begin to go for transhumance, but with dry animals, and so several try to combine their activities with tourism. But another aspect is that to combine several activities require much work, and it's very difficult for them to accept to work so much. I don't know if I am clear, but I try to do it.
Yes. And I would say I totally agree with the fact that combining both activities needs more work and sometimes a lot of investment. So the issue is to find an equilibrium so that you can live and also earn your money. And I think last week you were in Italy, and the Pastinava Consortium did a workshop there with the shepherds and the sector, and I think they visited a very successful project of agritourism, combining livestock with a rural house for guests. And also we have many examples of people who is combining restaurants with shepherding, but you have to adjust very much your activities, because the seasons can be conflicting. So it's not just two things different, but you have to integrate very well.
Last week we were in the Abruzzi in Italy, and we have visited such agritourism device, with restaurant, with sheep, with products, etc. And it's the main activity of Rete Appia in Italy, to support the shepherds, and the owner of this farm told us that they have to be multi skills. They have to be managers. They have to be hotel keepers. They have to be farmers, and it requires a very good goodwill and also good will to organize everything. It is valuable, but it's not so easy. This is a main point. Another point in Europe is that now most of the people working in the pastoral farms and in the farm in general are immigrants. They are it's what we saw last week in Italy, is that they are, and we see it everywhere, I think, in Spain also, and most of the workers are from Eastern Europe or Northern Africa and or even Western Africa. So it is a key point to think about how to train these new workers on pastoralism.
Okay, thanks, Jean-Paul. Any other comment about pastoralism or small livestock farming combined with tourism?
Yes, I wanted to I'll raise my hand because it's presented about this topic, but I don't know if the other hand is also about it. If not, I would go in because I wanted to comment. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So picking up on the point that Jelena Krčević very, I think, appropriately put the finger on, and that Jean-Paul developed. It is an issue that I've seen in Pastinova. I don't make part of the Pastinova team, that project, but I am absolutely, I feel aligned, identified, very happy to follow all your meetings and so on. So I hope one day we'll be able to cross paths. I work in pastoralism and pastoral commons for 25 years in the Mediterranean area, Morocco, Spain, France, and the Balkans, Montenegro and Serbia now, in a comparative way. And so I almost feel like the Pastino is happening just parallelly to what I'm doing, and I feel very honored to listen to all of you, and I'm learning a lot. Thank you very much. But about this point, I'd like to say that it's true that I haven't seen much in the different webinars going on, and in this one mentioned about the topic of tourism, that even though, like you have just said, Antonio and Jean-Paul, we all know are very important elements that are there. But it's true that I think it does deserve a whole chapter, because not only because as we all know, it is already being an important complement to agropastoralism or pastoralism, but it has also a strong potential in future terms, meaning that this type of tourism is growing: ecotourism, ethnotourism, the interest for the old sustainable practices. So this has a great potential that is not being very exploited, not only not addressed very much here, I feel, but not very exploited. In fact, it has a lot of potential. We know of it already for a few decades. And still the administrations are really behind on that. There should be a whole program looking at that, because like you're saying, some are starting to do it, like Jean-Paul is saying it, but you got to multitask in a way that, I mean, only not even 1% of the herders are ready, So there's an important reflection and recommendation cascade to make there. So I don't know if at Pastinova level, you have this capacity to together produce these very interesting documents, briefs, whatever. If you could, at one point in the rest of the time that is left of the project, you could, work on a white, not a white paper on that, but on some sort of reflections and recommendations. I think it's a key issue to support pastoralism. Not the main one, but it's a key issue. And Jelena Krčević and her team in Montenegro are demonstrating how, for example, where there's very little help from state, it's not EU yet, it's demonstrating to be very, very supportive to certain families. So now that said, I like to point out, for example, the works that we're doing in Spain, where there are very typical, and this would be applicable in Montenegro to answer Jelena and support her in her doings and her team's doings and other people's doings. Accompanying transhumance, it's something quite done quite a lot, not a lot, but done quite a lot, easy to set up, that doesn't require all those like multitaskings that Antoine and Jean-Paul were talking about when you set up a restaurant and a boutique, and transformation is that you do it and you get some tourists to accompany you on the way that even maybe helps you. Of course, it's also you not always have the perfect tourist, and something having a tourist with you in the transformation is more going to bother you than help you at all. But let's say that this is being quite successful in certain parts, and these tourists, they want to live the experience of the 2 days. It's a 1 week walk with a shepherd, and they pay the shepherd for it. This is interesting, and this doesn't require much multitasking. So that's already something that, and it's not very promoted, but I think every transformation pastoralist with the difficulties that they have, they should try to see if they could have people accompanying them and paying them for that, giving a complement to the activity. So that's already an idea there. In Montenegro, it's not practiced to my knowledge, and you could maybe, Jelena, think on adding things like this also to your plans and others in the Mediterranean region. Another point and then the second point I wanted to make to try to contribute to the reflection about the difficulties that this integration of tourism and pastoralism imply, which I absolutely agree, it's huge. It's so high that very little families are able of going in for it, wanting to go for it. The point is, for my point of view, a solution could be community tourism. I have observed and participated during years on such type of community tourism in pastoral settings in the High Atlas Mountains in Morocco, where I did a 7 years long PhD, and it successfully worked in the sense that it's not anymore one family that has to rush and set up all the infrastructure to host tourists and prepare food, but no, it's the whole community where, of the pastoral quarter up there in the mountain, where there are, let's say, 5 families or 15. You call that catuns in Montenegro. You can call that apriscos in Spanish. I don't know the word in Majadas, the word in English, but there where there's a group still on, they share between all of them the effort of hosting and preparing all this, right? Sometimes there's an NGO, sometimes there could be also a local public service to support this. I have observed, for example, a community house being built in the middle of the pastoral quarter, where there was like about 20 houses or more, and one in the middle that was made for tourists. And so the infrastructure was facilitated through this NGO who helped these pastoralists, and then they received periodically every week tourists that would come into this infrastructure, and it's not anymore in somebody's house which is not suited.
Sorry, Pablo.
And then the money is shared with all the community. Pablo? Sorry, I finished. What is it?
Yes, may you summarize, because others want to speak.
Yes, I finished.
Okay, thank you, Pablo.
Thank you for your interesting comment in testimonies. I say to summarize what you say, I insist on a point: is that the policymakers have to be aware it is relevant to support accurately pastoralism and to be innovative. What you have presented is very innovative, and innovation, not all type of innovation as we promoted in Pastinova, but other innovation are very important. And on the white paper, we try to convince the policymakers to support pastoralism as an activity for future and in all direction. This is the main point we try to develop. We try to develop in this white paper, in these activities on public policy. It is still in France, for instance. On one side, we have all the system for supporting animal production. And on the other side, there is some initiative for pastoralism. but all these activities are not completely related. It is a bit picturesque, as we say, for the animal production sector and industrial sector to pastoralism is a bit picturesque. And we think that today with agroecological issue, with rural issue, etc., it's important to connect animal production and pastoralism, not past pastoralism, but active animal production activity based on the use of local natural resources.
Thanks, Jean-Paul.
Including other activities. Okay, thank you.
There's also another comment by Ibrahim Musaf, a young shepherd and student in Turkey, but he's asking if he can have the contact of Professor Nassan Koluman. So Nassan, can we share your contact with Ibrahim Musaf, a Turkish student and shepherd? Or you can reply him directly in the chat or in the questions and answers.
Sorry, Antonio, can you please repeat it?
Yes.
Sorry.
If you go to the questions and answers, there's a question by Ibrahim Musaf, who is a Turkish shepherd and a student, and he was asking for contacting you directly. Can he contact you?
Yeah.
Can we provide him your mail?
Yeah.
Okay. And then finally, there's another question on acceptance of hydroponic barley between the farming society, and this can also be generalized on how policies can promote technology adoption. And this is a question for Professor Abbas. And then we will go for open questions.
Yes, it's a very large question about hydroponic barley. In Pastinova, we have only initiated because this technique, because Copsel, which is a partner in Pastinova, Algerian partner in Pastinova, have already used this technique to its farm school, and where farmers are trained to use this technique. In the context of Algeria, as I explained, we have a lot of small farms, small animal farms that are now facing very, very strong problems of feeding animals, mainly in winter. Then this technique is very useful to produce a good biomass, a good quantity of biomass in this time, and it requires a community effort that we have promote for this an association, and the association is now in this time is now reflecting how to appropriate this innovation by investment, collective investment, and collective build of this innovation inside their farms. We have for this a good strategy led by Rashida. She is with us now, and we are continuing to promote this technique inside the farms, and this it don't require a lot of technology as it could be understand, and we are trying to simplify the technique to make it collective, that the farmer who can produce can share the forage for the association partners, and vice versa. This is a beginning, but what we want to point in this experience is that pastoralism need innovations, and one of the innovations that could be very useful in Algeria is hydroponic production of barley. This is what I can say about this question.
Thank you, Khaled. So we have still some minutes for questions, and there's one hand raised, Dunia Al-Houri from Lebanon. Please, Dunia, mute on. Put your mic on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for sharing your experiences. Very happy to see you again. I want just, because we mentioned about tourism and pastoralism, just want to mention about a very good experience in Lebanon now. We are collaborating as NGO with eco tour operators, and we are organizing the Terhal, which is the Lebanese transhumance, la transhumance libanaise, أو الترحال بلبنان. This event will happen closely in May, so we are invited to participate also, because it's something that you are concerned in. This is the application about this event. So it's very important to join tourism and pastoralism. I think that it will make a very good innovation for this sector and will improve this sector. Thank you so much. It will be on May 15, 16, and 17. And the departure point will be our center in Deir al-Ahmar in the Bekaa of Lebanon. Thank you.
Please share on the chat if you can.
Yeah.
Some link, and then we'll have it.
Okay. You will be welcome.
Okay.
And
thank you.
We are also offering the services. So we have accommodation, we have guest houses, we have the delicious food. So it will be really a really experience joining tourism with transhumance.
Okay, thank you very much. So again, the issue is that the conclusion is that the pastoralism is moving, and there's a lot of ideas and innovations around. Other questions, please? I think Rashida, you want to say something?
Thank you, Antonio. I would like to add something after what Professor Abbas was saying. My job in the association and barley and hydroponic barley, we have the school farm of Kopsel, which practice and have the demonstration of hydroponic barley. Our farmers of the association had a short course demonstration there. The second is that the farmers, the member of the association, are very excited to practice this technique. The third thing is that the association have some administrative issues, because we have to work legally. So the actual activity of the association is the internal committee of training. We have to practice inside the association, then we will go outside of the association. And about the subsidy, the presence of the barley, there is a subsidy from the state, from the government, subsidy of barley, the grain, the seed of barley, to be used to feed in the animals, during the females, the goats, female goats and ewes during the winter. So the herd don't need only the seed; he needs also the green biomass. So, as said the professor, the green biomass is the innovation is to promote the hydroponic barley to be used as green biomass in the same time with the dry fodder. Thank you.
So it is supported as barley by the public authorities, and,
yes,
but it is good for the digestion of the animals, because it's a green further. Okay.
Yeah. Also, there is another information that the farmers don't give the harvest of barley to the government because the production is subsidized, but they keep it for their hair. So la matière première, the raw is here. We need only to manage and organize the activity.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Rashida. So it's good for food sufficiency and general support for farmers. Thank you very much. Now, maybe Martin can say something. You want to say
Yes,
your question, Martin?
I am Martin. Can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Yes, I am Martin from Albania, working with the pastoral communities. You said, and I agree with you, it's really something to think between pastoralism and tourism. But in Albania, we have the problem in the name of tourism. The shoppers can no more make transhumance, can no more take their dogs. Everything is broken by the big guest house who say we are the new shoppers, but we are not the new shoppers, and all the tourists wants to see the shoppers. We have to find an ethical way to make ecotourism going to the shoppers. And I would like to say it would be very important in Albania to make a congress, because the government say the future of Albania is the tourists, but without shoppers it's not possible. And about tourism and pastoral and transhumance. And I would like to invite you and to think it all together, looking forward for 2026.
Okay. Thank you, Martin. So again, the equilibrium, if we have good ideas, but then these ideas can maybe clash with other actors in the territory. You are totally right. Thanks for raising this. Jelena, you wanted to reply something on your own question about tourism?
Yes. Actually, thank you for having us here. It's great talking to people who are like-minded, who share the same goals. I went through the white paper very briefly, as much as I could during this meeting, and I really think that agritourism in transhuman settlements should be one of the examples. And stressed a bit more. It is mentioned in one sentence within diversification activity. It could use a best practice example. So maybe Lebanon case, as in Montenegro, we are at your disposal. I can share my contacts because I think it is a very good activity to be combined with smallholders activity. I agree. The larger farmers do not have time and capacity to handle several activities at once, but smallholders who are still very important for survival of transhumans could be a very good match, and that is what has been our experience in Montenegro. So that is just a suggestion that I wanted to make.
Thank you very much, and with your comments and this of Durian and Pablo, maybe collective action again is a solution for smallholders in this area of tourism. Other questions, other comments, maybe in other area, other type of activities within pastoralism or policy issues.
Antonio.
Yes.
I can speak because I
of course.
raised my hand. Est-ce que je pourrais m'exprimer un peu en français parce que peut-être Jean-Paul pourrait traduire parce que je veux justement exprimer une idée un peu particulière par rapport au livre blanc, white paper. c'est que bon, ce que je pense percevoir, surtout en Algérie, c'est que on tend à penser à ce que le pastoralisme est une activité, c'est la dernière activité qu'on peut exercer économiquement parlant dans les zones pauvres, dans les zones très pauvres. Donc on peut épuiser dans l'industrie, dans le tourisme, dans toutes les activités, mais après, à la fin de toutes les possibilités, on parle de pastoralisme. Et moi, je voudrais justement que dans le livre blanc, on dissocie le pastoralisme de la pauvreté et de vraiment de la désolation. Puisque dès qu'on parle de pastoralisme, dans la tête de certaines personnes, c'est un système extensif qui ne pourrait marcher qu'avec ces conditions-là et qu'on pourrait à chaque fois le remplacer dès qu'il y a les conditions favorables. Donc, moi, pardon, je continue.
I can translate a little bit.
Okay.
Because if some people don't speak French,
Yes.
Abbas, Khaled, tell us that pastoralism is too much. I agree with you. It's too much related to poverty, to low social conditions, people, and once they have been developed, they go to another type of activity than pastoralism. It's what you have observed, and he thinks that it is very important, mainly in Algeria, in the heads of policymakers.
Yes. Je continue. Donc, moi, je voudrais qu'à travers le livre blanc, on essaie de dire que cela n'est pas vrai et que le pastoralisme est un mode de production particulier qui a ses atouts et qui pourrait donc concurrencer les autres activités au même titre que tous les autres systèmes. Il faut seulement lui donner les atouts nécessaires pour qu'il puisse donc reprendre un peu ses atouts historiques. Comme en Algérie, vous savez, par exemple, par rapport au problème de mobilité et de transhumance, il y avait des effets extraordinaires en termes culturels et en termes sociaux, parce qu'il y avait quand même des liens sociaux entre différentes régions, notamment par les mariages, par beaucoup de choses et par l'échange de produits, de types de produits qui maintenant ont disparu. Alors que ne pourrait apporter ces bienfaits que le pastoralisme. Donc le pastoralisme n'est pas un mode de pauvreté, mais un mode de vie qui pourrait toujours continuer à vivre à travers aussi la mobilité. Et il faut restaurer la mobilité d'une manière ou d'une autre à travers d'autres innovations et que le pastoralisme, pour moi, est un mode qui pourrait aussi marcher avec modernité et avec technologie. Pourquoi pas? Et donc, il a ses propres atouts. Ses propres atouts sont toujours d'actualité. Tels que donc, les bienfaits sur le plan culturel, sur le plan des produits. Et à travers Pastinova, on est en train de prouver cela dans d'autres tasks, que quand même la population citadine s'est exprimée et a donné beaucoup d'affection ou beaucoup d'attirance par rapport aux produits issus du pastoralisme. Il faut juste les mettre en valeur et donc tirer le pastoralisme vers le haut. Voilà, c'est ce que je voulais dire.
Donc, Khaled has insisted on the fact that the white paper has to push pastoralism forward as a technique for animal production related to modernity and technology, but also with mobility. We have to reinvent mobility. A modern mobility with a cultural diversity. I fully agree with you, Khaled. And the example I've given about France is exactly the same. For the animal production sector, pastoralism is not yet an answer to the problem of animal production. So we want to show that for each priority for animal production, including productivity, pastoralism with within this diversity, not a special type of pastoralism, but all type of pastoralism could be an answer to this diversity. And in France, for instance, it's not, we discussed this with Antonio, it's not the case in Corsica, but in many regions, people go more and more on the rangelands and transhumance, and there is sometimes even overgrazing because people are attracted to develop transhumance and pastoralism and such a type of mobility. And I think, however, we have to reinvent mobility. It couldn't be the same mobility than during the 19th century, because the society changes but we have to be aware the problems are very complex.
Yes.
Are very complex, and policymakers, they don't like complexity. They prefer simple solution.
It is for why the Turkish example is very interesting about logistic system. It is very important to make bridges with logistic system in
exactly.
Yes, it's very important.
Meratla Raid, I am glad to see you again.
Micro.
Yes, can you speak Meratla, and then another after Meratla, Martin and Rashida, and we will close. But please be brief. Don't take too many time in your comments. Meratla,
Micro.
Meratla, can you please open your... Est-ce que tu peux ouvrir ton micro?
Monsieur Meratla, il est haut.
Micro à droite. Oh, micro.
Donc, du moment que Abbas il a ouvert la brèche pour parler en français, donc on essaie d'apporter un plus dans la problématique des politiques publiques. Il faut toujours penser à l'espace économique national, qui constitue toujours un problème qui préoccupe tout à la fois les responsables politiques, la vie économique nationale, soit à l'échelon gouvernemental, soit à l'échelle régionale, les acteurs économiques, les aménagistes, les paysagistes, les banquiers et toute l'opinion publique. Dans un monde libéral...
Just a minute. Meratla tells us that it's very important to consider the policy at the national level, and we are involved at all the other levels.
Oui. Donc, dans un monde libéral, l'espace économique se compose et se transforme incessamment sous l'action de calculs de plus précis et compte tenu des modifications incessantes des données de base ainsi que des innovations de toutes sortes. La question récurrente qui se pose est comment se jouent les diverses forces qui, à chaque instant, donnent son visage à un pays. La complexité de la localisation des activités est au premier chef un phénomène géographique, mais aussi, bien entendu, un phénomène économique.
So, Meratla, tell us about the complexity of the report of Strange, the several forces involved in the organization of one activity, whatever is the activity.
Oui.
Yes. And, Meratla, est-ce que tu peux être bref, s'il te plaît?
Oui. Donc, on voudrait revenir à la place du pastoralisme dans l'espace économique national. Donc, toujours l'espace qui est convoité, qu'on cherche donner des jalons de développement, on essaie de détruire l'espace pastoral. Dire que toujours il est qualifié d'un déni, d'une discrimination, c'est une activité secondaire. Et donc, on doit lutter pour préserver cette activité-là qui peut émerger et donner naissance à une économie prospère sans débourser de gros investissements dans les dessertes routières, dans les équipements, les dotations publiques et tout cela. Donc, toujours, il faut revenir à une organisation paysagère et tirer profit d'une économie rabougrie qui dépend des ressources naturelles, l'espace, le végétal, et entraîner l'interaction espace, végétal, animal, homme, et pour créer de la richesse. Donc, il faudrait toujours... Et qui mérite une politique pastorale adaptée et qui mérite une conception solide pour que cette économie statique qui émerge d'elle-même prenne l'élan pour un renouveau pastoral harmonieux. Et je vous remercie.
Voilà. So thank you, Meratla. To sum up what you say, it's not easy because you say so many things that it's a bit difficult. You said that in a liberal economy, there is a combination of activity we are developing, and the role of public powers, of public policy, would be to coordinate and to give a sense to this orientation. I understood this from your presentation. Thank you. Merci, Berat.
Merci.
Merci, Light. And now we have also Rashida. Can you be brief and make a
Yes,
conclusive
Antonio.
comment?
It is just a very small idea because in my region there is a special area in community, Amazigh community, that practice tourism in the mountain, and especially agrotourism or pastoral tourism in the mountain with the traditional specific dishes and recipes. So I'm very interested if there are some activities or some work about that topic to participate. Algeria has the opportunity to participate, and so it is the idea. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rashida. So yes, it seems that agritourism and pastoralism can be an object of a knowledge exchange project, and it would be very interesting if we can find a way to do that. If there are no more comments, maybe Jean-Paul, Khaled, and Nassan want to say closing remarks.
No, I think that now on my side, I think the white paper has to be a tool to be used at the local levels to have connection with public policy, because I think public policymakers are not fully aware of the potentiality for the future of these activities in its diversity. Khaled,
Khaled,
Nazan,
you want to say something conclusive?
Excuse me, I didn't listen.
No, if you want to say a conclusion from your side, a brief conclusion on policies and pastoralism.
Yes. I think that we said a lot of things together today. The experience of Algeria, the experience of France, the experience of Turkey are perfectly additional. We can add this experience d'une manière very fructifully and fruitful, yes, and to make a new orientation on pastoralism revitalization, and then the three experiences are very useful today to promote pastoralism inside Pastinova and inside the white paper. I think that we have a lot of issues in our countries, and we have to continue to work on these orientations. I think that in Algeria, especially, we have to promote the collective work inside the farmers community. That is a big orientation, because we have a lot of very small farmers that are disappearing now under the pressure of economic condition and climate change, and we have then to promote this orientation on cooperatives and associations, and we have to couple this orientation with innovations that are accepted by farmers, and with innovations that we can make good training courses on it, and to promote also. I can focus on this, the shepherd schools. This concept is very important also for each country. We have to also talk about what Nazan pointed that the logistics is very important for future of pastoralism, because pastoralism have to go on modernity. This is what I can summarize, and I think that we have to continue to work together.
Fully agree with you on everything. Ton micro,
Microphone, Antonio. Microphone.
Yes, thanks, Khaled. So it's a lot of different things, lot of different points of view. So the thing is complex, but it's special. It's very interesting, and I think if we can at least do something, a little support to pastoral farming, it could be very good. Nathan, do you want to say something as conclusion?
As a conclusion remarks, it's very important to attract pastoral people. That's why we start rural attractive center establishment, especially at the mountainous area. If we couldn't keep the people in their land, in the future maybe we will have some problem to improve pastoralism. This is my conclusion remarks, and thank you very much for all participants.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think the task is complex, it's complicated. I don't know if we have any policy maker here in this webinar, but I think we have people who is supportive and who can, at their own sites or in their countries, in their localities, in their regions, do something to touch the attention of policymakers, and maybe integrate and stream pastoralism into the policies. Thank you very much. Maybe Jan Paul, something else to say?
No, it's not. It's just about what Nathan saying. It's just to know that it's normal that in such a meeting there is no policymakers, but at your local level you have to be in, as we did in our regions. We have to go towards the policymakers. And for instance, tomorrow I have a meeting with policymakers in Corsica who have invited me to speak about pastoralism.
Yes. So maybe the role of many of us is to make this translation and to try to push policy things or policy dialogue attention into pastoralism. And next year we will have the International Year, and hopefully pastoralism will be much more in the policy dialogue and also in the public conversation.
Haida
is not here. Well, the materials of the webinar will be put online on the PastoNow website, presentations, the recordings, but the main document we want you to take your attention in is the white paper. As said, it's not perfect, it's a very synthetic document, but I'm sure that it's quite didactic and can help you to communicate to your policies, political people in your countries and regions and localities. Thank you very much for your presence. I think we will have still one or maybe two more webinars in April and maybe in May. So we hope they will be interesting for you. Pastinova is going to finish in April, but well, a lot of work is still to be done in the project, and of course, a lot of work is still to be done to put pastoralism in the place it deserves, due to the benefits and the importance it can have in rural development. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a nice day and Eid Mubarak for all the participants.
Thank you very much.
I do